Well, hello guys, this is me, Christian again. And now I guess it's time we go ahead and get started on this so-called diagnosis video. As I so wanted to proclaim to get that right out of the way and all that stuff. So may as well get started and all. But before words, of course, like usual, if any of you guys have not basically subscribed to my channel yet, now would be considered a good chance to do so. At least for the fact to appreciate support to my channel and support to all the wonderful people in the world. Even if they don't see it themselves, I truly believe that we're all capably unique and special in our own different ways, or should I say peculiar. Yeah. Anyways, so today's little topic I like to get at, and this diagnosis only, it was known as National FASD Day on the 9th of Saturday, so that was 4 days. Might this video be posted the next day after? I don't know, possibly yet, but the time of the recording I got this done, it's around nighttime, obviously, based off of, you see the lights being on and all. Yep. Yeah, so it's September 13th of Wednesday, 2023. Anyways, so yeah, what basically FASD stands for, that is basically, that is fatal alcohol spectrum disorder, guys. And it kind of falls into the category, like, there is some similarities that does come along with that. Like you can already memorize one thing, like, with FASD, similar, when you put the autism spectrum disorder, because they both have spectrum disorder in that mixture, but the only thing that's a little bit different with that word is there's an F in that for fatal. Yeah. And obviously, instead of autism, right, they have that replaced with alcohol, right? And so let me get into that part now, guys. And yeah, so there's a role that gets played into that. So as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm gonna try my best to at least get about 90% of it correct as I can. Hopefully, guys, yeah. So, as far as I know, so basically, let's just say maybe in the early 20s or 23s or something, maybe later on in their life, doesn't matter. Yeah, because chances are, if a pregnancy for the woman starts to happen, right, and they've been getting into the whole alcohol party situation, basically what tends to happen is, after a certain amount of time, weeks come in, oh no, pregnancy happened. And then the next thing that happens, and sometimes the woman or themselves may not always recognize that they are pregnant with, like, when they had this happen to them. Some do, but I would say, maybe in my opinion, that the majority of them probably wouldn't. So in this case, when they when the baby does get released, right, yeah, well, to of course the whole world, it'd be normal, right, like, it still have some of the normal symptoms, like, you wouldn't notice much of a difference, but until, like, later on in their life, you begin to notice, like, in your child, I guess, some of the nearby strange stuff, probably, of course, related to symptoms that they might have, but it's never an okay, progress or whatever, to self-diagnose that whatsoever. So, if any by chances, I'm not sure, but definitely, if they are diagnosed, I think, with fatal alcohol spectrum disorder. Better to go see a doctor possibly immediately about this, maybe. Might help be able to understand some things, but I can realize that part can get a bit confusing too, because this kind of also falls into an overlap too. Both similar to ADHD and autism here. Yeah, they can have an overlap. And one of my friends at school is diagnosed with this condition. Not saying the name, no. I'm just not. But yeah, has that condition and also has ADHD as well. Speaking of which, I will be doing an ADHD video when October arrives, because that's the National Day when that comes around. Be explaining more about that. But back to the fatal alcohol spectrum disorder, or FASD for short. Yeah. So this kind of condition that goes around, I'm pretty sure many people with that with FASD has explained, and it has the courage right there to share some of its life experience stories of what they've experienced through in their lifetime, and what some strengths they might have, but some difficulties of that too, because of course, just like just like with autism and ADHD, fatal alcohol spectrum disorder also too has a learning disability as well. Yeah, it does. And the population of the world of this condition is only 4% of the world that actually has this entire condition in the whole wide world. So, yep, in terms of what we do know, it's more than quite a few, it's a little bit more percent than Down syndrome, and it's a little more percent than autism as well, since autism is only 1%. Yeah. And I think I've heard it was like, what, around 6,000 maybe that end up, I'm not sure what part of the world it was, that end, like around 6,000 children that were like diagnosed with that condition, FASD, and yeah. Now that's not to say though that they can still complete certain tasks. There's at least about 10 possible individual skills that they can complete through, but there will be at least three possible conditions, like as in struggles, that they will deal with in their lifetime, like if so. But other besides that, protesting some stuff, they can still live an easy normal life for certainty, just like with some other symptoms, like other diagnoses as well. Yeah. I mean, the activity of the whole disorder, though, isn't all that bad, depending on how much, I guess, alcohol the people have drank and all that stuff. The more, I guess, they had, I guess the more likely symptoms might tend to get out of control. I'm not sure if the anxiety and stuff would still come through the, probably so, because if all not treated very right, and not treated with proper discipline too, there could be some term problems, like could be some health problem, substance that can get into that, like into their lives, followed by mental health issues, difficulties around school, and worse to say yet, there's a 19 times possible outcome that they'll have a very easy chance of going to prison, basically. Why, you ask? Kind of a little bit difficult for me to say, but one of those reasons is manipulation, guys. Those people with those conditions, and this affects how much alcohol this person has had, right? But no matter what, do not in any circumstances ever blame the moms or anything for this. Never. And I'm not sure if there's much to blame for the government for that, but the government's the one that's provided with so much of the support and stuff, right? But I'm not going to get into that much details. Just note the fact that it shouldn't really be necessary anyone's vote for, like, these things come through, and not everybody's able to recognize these stuff in time, you know? They just come and go, right? Like, it's a bit of fun that gets into the idea. The next thing you know, the child gets around, gets diagnosed with FASD, and probably didn't know most likely about it. And once they do, there's a better chance to better take care and cure the situation, all for the better of other people's lives or so, I think. Yeah. Now, as for the whole gullible piece, yeah. The more they're likely involved with the alcohol, right? There's a better chance, though, without the nearby discipline, they'll be more likely to be able to fall for certain victims. Like, they'll get, like, other people that don't have this condition will often, like, blame so much things on the people with that condition. And because mainly chances are they'll be like basically they tell this person to do something, and they'll be most likely like, well, yeah, I agree, I'll do this for you guys, right? Not realizing the circumstances of the outcome that the police could get involved in, and this person didn't even realize how much trouble that would get through. But you can't really blame the people with that. Like, if the people were born with that condition, it kind of sometimes makes it hard to see through. But better understanding to recognize that whole condition in the whole world, just like with any other things, there needs to be put as more research into most of these conditions, so they can better understand it and get the whole point of view across the whole world. And that's sort of what I'm trying to do here with this video, guys. Sure, I go on constantly talking about some other things too, sometimes my whole gaming worlds and stuff too, but other topics, I like to make sure I get the word across as many people there as best as I can, knowing that I'm one of the people that will appreciate and will support this day. I'm sorry, the guys, that this video came out 4 to 5 days later. I didn't even know anything about this this conditional day until Monday at school, which I did kind of talk to you that I was going to do during a couple times on my couple of exclusive drones videos, which I finally am getting through to you guys now here. So again, knowing the fact that this condition is something us take care of, I hope I'm doing the best I can with explaining about as much as possible. Excuse me if I leave, of course, any details out of it. Some details I might have forgotten. I might write in the descriptions, or I might unpurposely leave out too. But in any circumstances, I must I'm trying to do the best I can to with adding this much what I've learned through this day that went through, and better recognizing that all sorts of people, like, right, like, of course, with the neurotypicals, right, sometimes that part can be kind of, yeah, it can be kind of difficult to, because there's like the shading as in the masking, and well, the masking part is, of course, both for the, I guess, ADHD and autism here, right? But since they kind of both fall into that overlap category, yeah, I mean, chances are, if you have those two, if you have FASD, or yeah, if you have FASD and ASD, or FASD and ADHD, right? Chances are the conditions for, like, I guess, like mental health issues will lessen, and followed by chances of being taught with more control and more discipline, so there's a lesser chance for those people to get thrown in prison, because trust me, we don't want to see nobody behind bars, not even those people, right? We want everybody to go live a good, best potential life out there in the world, you know? But seeing the fact that it can be kind of a bit of a struggle, yes. And I really thought, to be honest, when I was diagnosed with autism here, right, as an ASD here, I thought my symptom, to be honest, I felt like I didn't fit much into the whole group, you know, like, with society's pressures and getting on me certain nerves at times. But really, knowing the fact that there is other conditions that could even pressure some people with the FASD as well. Yeah. And some of the common, and one thing I can memorize that can be kind of an issue is sometimes social cues with those people with them too. And that's a common fact that definitely for certainty autism has too. But that might not always necessarily be the case, because there's like 3 out of 10 for FASD here, right? Yeah. And I can't seem to put my finger on what might be a similar condition from that transfer for ADHD or so. But again, guys, I'm just trying to do the best I can with getting as much information I can detailed to this somewhat video. Once again, guys, yeah. So basically by this point, guys, we already have kind of the understanding, right, that once a person was, if a person is diagnosed with the fatal alcohol spectrum disorder, we already know that part of their neurodiversity, basically their neurological brain, right, somewhat is damaged somehow. Yeah, and sometimes they might not even recognize it through most of their age groups, and like the age gaps I meant. But it's not always easy from the parent to the child to be able to understand that stuff. That's why doctors are somewhat protested to automatically know these kinds of things, and that's the good thing about going to see doctors, right? Also, there's other videos to explain about that too, and I'm sure if you guys go watching some other videos, I based in some of that detail and the information, so even if all the information has not been covered to this video I'm making here for you guys, so you guys get the better understanding, and hopefully you guys are supporting me for trying to support those people out there too. And my next upcoming detailed video will be in October, discussing a bit about the symptoms of people with ADHD, and I extremely somewhat support that a lot too, because I have a lot more of my friends from in school, and I have one of my siblings, maybe 2, actually maybe 3, that have ADHD as well. Yeah. Oh, and basically, guys, there is another thing about but that's less of the description detail of it. But yes, there is a facial look too. Like, there's basically a facial look to identify with like the face and stuff. It's really hard to describe it. Not everybody's facial looks will look exactly, but some kind of give away some of the detail to having that diagnosis, but they don't even have to have that facial look just to know that they have the FASD. And actually, that's kind of a very tricky one to sort of figure out. I mean, you kind of have to be biologically with this person, like, as the child, like, right? To actually have some ideas of some of the strange symptoms that might come in, either in early developed childhood or later on in their developed lives too, right? So it's not always easy to detail and spot right away. And of course, many of us wouldn't directly know so much. The only way we actually might have to know for certainty is either clearly by the doctors, which will give us not even 100% detail, but I give it maybe 95%, maybe 90%. That'd be pretty much close enough anyways to fully know some of the details there. But many of us, we just have to take the word for it if they tell us, yeah, because it's never good to make fun of anybody with any somewhat disorders whatsoever here. So instead, let's take this moment to just appreciate the fact that some people are diagnosed with other conditions, right? No matter if it's a disorder or disability. I know I said that probably in a few other supporting decolonizing moments of other symptoms and other disorders and whatever that other people basically have. But I can keep repeating this thing as much times possible until enough has been crossed around, and hopefully you other people out there could actually get the understanding of that too. Now, basically, I know I don't typically have this condition myself, so that's why I can't fully say for certainty, and I am going to end this video really shortly soon. I already discussed a lot about my own condition and my own life sentence of my autism a long while ago. That was during April. I believe the 2nd of April was the day. Release due date if you wanted to see that too, guys. So yeah. Yeah, so about the 3 out of 10, right? That is a possibility, but they could be diagnosed with some other struggles. Could be even 4. You never know either. I mean, I don't truly know myself as well either, but you just have to figure that out, I guess, during some tougher moments, I guess. And of course, the one thing for certainties, yeah, so I've already gotten through the part that basically between some of the symptoms of, yeah, because the thing is, because sometimes, here's how it was in the past, once you're like diagnosed with like one condition, there was no overlap basically allowed basically afterwards, but now they made it so we can diagnose more than once and possibly have 2 conditions, right? So although we have an idea spectacularly well that once again FASD can be connected somehow to either ADHD or autism, or it could be just separate by itself too. And although there is some similarities with FASD, ADHD, and autism, all 3 of them, that's right, but at the same time, they all got their little separation differences too. They all do. Now, you may notice some similarities, but they're not all regularly the same. Believe me, I've seen the difference. Sure, I can relate to a lot of things that people tell me either about their lives or so, right? But that's a whole different story, right? You see. But when we're talking in terms of the conditions that people have, like diagnosis and stuff, now that brings it to a whole nother different level here, guys. and it really doesn't turn out to work all basically the same, you know, guys. That's just my basic point of experience. Believe me, I certainly know that very protestably well. So yeah, we all pretty much have an idea of we live in this world that we're always going to be surrounded in this very, very viral, like, scary world, guys. That part has never changed, not from the past, and never from the future. Nope, most of which, it's all remained the same. We're all still remained to experience scary things that go on in our lives. And yes, we're all still sinners too, most likely. We're never going to be perfect people. We can never make a perfect civilization creation of the world, no matter how hard we put our hands in and just try, you know. But we do still try our best to put in efforts and make our own best life to being successful. We can't please everybody in the world. I know I definitely can't please everyone. I've tried that so much in the past, and that's really affected my mental health. And that's what can happen when we try to please everybody. It can somewhat affect our own mental health ourselves, not realizing our own pleasures. And that's why sometimes in our lifetime it's best to put ourselves first. Yeah, for reasons. Now again, guys, if I haven't covered up all the research details of what I've gotten, I know I don't end up doing a lot of moving around when I do some videos. Maybe I can try doing that if any of you guys suggest that being any help for. So I can try doing that, moving around, going places, making some videos around or whatever, right? But again, this was just a cover-up, phasing off of a FASD. More research stuff would be on the internet, I guess. Other videos other people made. Certainly psychologists or some sort of scientists, doctors, and stuff like that. Yeah. And most of these people have the purposeful reasons on purpose to create such documentable videos of the importance of what people have, and even yet more so, the news around the whole world is a good thing too, especially when it comes to like having to put all the support out in the nation of the world too, guys. So yeah, I guess that's it, guys. That's gonna cover up for today's video. Hope you guys support in this video here. Hope you guys maybe like this video. As much as I tried to cover up as much detail, it's not been all fully explained, but I'm a man that does the best of my words. Like, you know, I can't do all these things in one place, as you know. This man's got other things to do in its own sparity of lifetime too. So yeah, this takes care of all these good national things about this traditional good FASD video here. This teaches some of us some life valuable lessons along in that sacredity of it too, guys. And yeah, I'm wrapping this up now, guys. Have a nice day, or night now, I should say, guys. Night for sure. Yeah, good night all around here. Anyways, yeah. Christian signing off. Bye-bye, guys, and yeah.